So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our astrology Q&A session where I'm going to answer all your Vedic astrological, concerns. And apparently, when I took the picture of the questions that I selected, my camera just took blur picture. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it. It's like just you can barely, I can read it, but I just won't be able to make out the names so well. So the first one is from One Love, I believe. Says, will you be making more short films about meeting the other planets like you did with Ketu? I would like to see visually exploring other aspects of planets. So, well, yeah. I mean, again, like I said, it depends upon the budget and the time to accumulate that budget. Because, like I said, I mean, whenever you guys, join my academy, my vlogs, any of my lessons, I use that particular funds to, develop ideas and scripts. So once I had that money, I'm like, okay, wow, I can actually now film Meeting Ketu, because the script that I wanted, that I wrote of Meeting Ketu, I'm like, I'm going to need actors, I'm going to need help, I'm going to need some visual effects, and it's going to cost money. And yet, luckily, I was able to do that, even though I still had to put some of my money. So it all depends, how soon I get the budget. If I get the budget in, 6 months, fine, you can see Walking with Saturn probably by next year. If it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. I'm not in a rush. I'm not like, I have to do this, I have to film it. No, I just had to do Rahu and Ketu. And I got to tell you, I activated my Ketu. Do you know, at least two or three instances, a mouse showed up in our home. Actually, our cat brings in birds, on our bed, in our dining table, like giving us as a gift, because that's what they do. They kind of like, hey, I got this for you. Now you can cook it, eat it, whatever you want. So bought in a mouse. Mouse was all over the house. In my office. He was in my office, in the bathroom side where underneath there's a space, and he would just go in there. But as soon as I released my Meeting Ketu movie, within 2 days gone. We don't know where the mouse went. No more noises. We had to fix our refrigerator twice, because he ripped the wires in the back, or she or he, whoever it was. But, that was one thing. But then definitely my Ketu was activated, with the certain vivid dreams that I had and the experiences that I had. I mean, Rahu, Ketu are the main, planets, and all the planets are between them. So it was necessary. That was the most important thing for me to film Meeting Ketu, which is actually about to hit 100,000 views. My interview of Rahu took 4 years to get to 150 or 160,000 views. Meeting Ketu already has, if you combine both of my copies that I uploaded, more than 100,000, but one of them is about to hit 100,000. So yeah, it's doing very well. I would say it's a success, even though monetarily it wasn't a success at all. But, it's for you guys. Since you guys, made sure that I could make this movie, I put it out for you guys. I don't care about the money and all that. Now, the next one is from, Swamp Nandi. How long does it take for a new Mahadasha to or show effects? Well, I actually made the video on this on my KRS vlogs regarding the 360-day calculated dasha versus 365 calculated dasha. See, there's several of these dasha systems. One is also 365 point something. The reason why you would use 360-day, because first of all, dasha is calculated through the moon, the moon's nakshatra and padha. And if you add all the 13 degrees and 20 arc minutes all throughout, it equals to 360. So this is where it becomes important. And usually always when you calculate a dasha from 360 day versus 365, it'll always start early. It may start 3 months early, 4 months early, 8 months early. So in this case, what happens is when you calculate when your dasha really started from the 360-day calculation, you will see that your mind starts changing. So if, let's say, through the 365-day dasha calculation, your dasha is supposed to start in December, but it started in July, according to the 360 calculation. If you can go back and if you can even start calculating, start observing things, your mind will start changing. So if, let's say, you're going from your Jupiter to Saturn dasha, you will start becoming more serious. You will start to lose your interest in humorous things, funny things. You will be much more work oriented, status oriented. But when that actually happens, the day you start your dasha from 365, boom, it will put in the process where you start acting like that. You start doing things. Before, the mind is just like, why am I losing interest in this? Or why am I thinking this way? Why suddenly am I watching KRSchannel? So this is where you have to calculate that. I have already shown that on my KRS vlogs. Then the next question is from STM, I guess, because remember, it's blurred. Planetary effect of tattoos on the body. So I'm actually about to make a video either today or tomorrow on KRS vlogs about wristwatches and like the brand names and how they affect you. So every single thing affects you. The thing is, the color of the clothes that you wear affects you. They're affecting you in a very subtle way because you're not wearing one piece of clothes for a month, 6 months, or a year. You take them off after 1 day, 2 day, and then you wear new clothes. So this is where that change is not seen so strongly. But if somebody wears a watch every day to work and they're wearing it for like 10-15 hours, you're wearing some necklace, that everything about that particular watch, that necklace, or that gold piece you're wearing starts affecting you. So same way with tattoos. What is the meaning of the tattoo that you have on your body? Because what happens is you start taking in the theme of that tattoo and you start experiencing life around you because of that. And this is something I've observed, even especially like with basketball players, football players in US, most of them now have tattoos. And I have studied, like Kyrie Irving has a particular tattoo. What does that tattoo means and what his life has been about? He has a very mystical tattoo. It represents like mystical powers. And if you see Kyrie Irving, if you follow basketball, you would have seen he has questioned things where people think he's just a little cuckoo, like little off. He's believing in flat earth. He's believing in this. He was believing in that, like more of the conspiratorial, side of life. It starts to do that. Now, will it do that in a really big way where it changes your life financially or changes your life, personally? Sure. It depending upon what that tattoo is, which area of the body it is in. Okay, like if it's on your shoulder, the theme of your communication will become a certain way. If it's on your chest, okay, that's right where the heart is, the actual motor of everything. Yes, it's gonna affect the fourth house and how the whole system of your body, your being, your life becomes. So absolutely, all of these things have an effect. Then the next one is from I can't even, I'm sorry, it's blurred out. It's called something. Do we have free will in choosing career? In a way, yes, but mostly no. Like what happens is your career is set towards a certain path. So let's say your career is set towards dealing with all matters of the 8th house. Okay, So once we see that, okay, your Artha, the planet that is supposed to bring you the money, is in the 8th house and being impacted by these planets, there are only certain things you can do, but you will always have to only do things in that realm, okay, in order to progress your life. And if you fine tune then there would only be that one out of those 4 that will really be progressing in your life. So if let's say your 8th house is activated, sure, you can go towards astrology, insurance, inheritance, wills and estates, being an emergency, being a surgeon, somebody who goes into, jewelry work, goes into film industry, goes into oil petroleum work. But those are the only things you're then going to be bound by. And out of all of those things, which one is doing the work? Well, for this, you then look at the Dharma Lord, the path of the soul. You look at the Kama. Like, what is the desire of the soul? Is the soul desiring something more about chemicals and oil, petroleum, or is the soul desiring something about occult and mysticism? So that this is where the free will really kind of like, it's like you can only buy, okay, let's say you can only buy a Volvo. That's your destiny. That is your, that's your non-free will. But the free will says, okay, I'll only give you a Volvo. You can choose which color you want. Do you want that sky blue? Do you want the gray, the white, the black? That's what happens. Then it's from Divya. Please share some insights about, oh my God, mutual karma, spiritual. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I deleted these questions too on my post, but let me see this. Please share some insights about mutual annual karma. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to skip this for right now. Next one is from Dr. something. How to describe whether my brother will be successful in a job or business? Well, the simplest thing we see, is it your elder brother or your younger brother? If it's a younger brother, look at the position of the 3rd house and look at the position of Mars. If it's an elder brother, look at the position of the condition of the 11th house and Jupiter. And that too, if let's say you have 4 younger brothers, then the 3rd house will become the younger brother to you. 5th will become the younger to them. 7th will become the younger to them. 9th will become the youngest. And based on this and based on the transit on your chart, we can see, like even just yesterday when I was doing the 2021 transit reading, I'm like, your younger sibling is going to find great success. Because Jupiter and Saturn were both coming in the 3rd house with strong Sarvashtak Varga points. They were also looking at the 3rd Lord in the 9th house. So I'm like, definitely all these things are happening, but your younger sibling's career will also do well, especially because of the Mahanantra Dasha you're also going through. So through your chart, we can see, if they're going to be successful, like especially if you have 3rd Lord in the 10th house. Younger sibling, after your, because of your chart, younger sibling's career will be great. So this is how you can see things. Then it's from Anubhai. Why Saturn is considered to be malefic if Saturn is the planet of justice? Well, you got to ask yourself that. Saturn is a planet of justice, right? Is justice always right in this world? Do you ever always say, oh yes, justice was done to me? No, sometimes you say, oh my God, why wasn't justice done to me? Why wasn't justice done to this person, to that person? Saturn is simply a judge, right? If you want to just look at it, judge has to be completely unbiased and neutral. And based on the evidence, judge makes a decision or jury makes a decision that either you're guilty or you're not guilty. So it's you who's responsible for how Saturn is going to judge you. What actions did you take in your past lives? What actions you're taking in this life? Based on that, your judgment is going to come. So you, in a way, can already predetermine the judgment in your favor if you do the right things. Okay. Then, these are very good questions, actually. I'm just upset that I didn't check my camera. I just took it. I'm like, oh, it'll be good. Next one is from Pratanya something. Best possible way to prove astrology is real and how it works. I've already done that. Been there, done that, couldn't care. I don't care if astrology remains fake for the next 2,000 years. And I couldn't care if somebody else proves it. Because the thing is, astrology is such a powerful tool. And it takes so long to literally to call yourself a master of astrology. You should be consecutively being born at least 7 times in a row, studying astrology in all those 7 lives, and then you can call yourself a master. But, now, for me personally, I don't have any interest in proving the world, oh, look, astrology is right. Somebody else need to take that. Somebody else has taken it. Somebody else has already taken it, and I'm so happy. And that's little Parashara. Well, he's not so little now. Teenage Parashara, Abhignayanand, who I brought maybe 3-4 years ago. He's doing his thing. He is out there, proving astrology in the most beautiful manner. So, for me, it's just, I don't have any solution, neither any concerns with that. Then the next one is from Pranad Mehra. Whether I should go for job or business, kindly throw some light and clarity. Okay, so you pretty much just want to know, should you do job or business? Well, what are the combination of business? Number 1, either you should have 5 or more planets between the axis of 7th and 12th house. That's the first thing. Or 5 or more planets between the axis of 10th and 3rd house. Number 2, you need to have influence of independent planets affecting either your ascendant, 10th house, ascendant lord, or 10th lord. And those independent planets are Sun, Moon, Mars, and Rahu. So if Mars is in the 3rd house, it's going to aspect the 10th house from its 8th aspect. And let's say you have Sun setting in the 7th house. And then you have most of the planets between the axis of 10th and 3rd house. Well, that determines that, okay, this person is a very independent individual and they are capable of doing business. Okay, then you look at the moon chart. From the moon chart, if the 10th lord is in the 3rd house of self efforts, 10th lord is in the 5th house, which is 3rd from the 3rd, also represents speculation. 10th lord is in the 7th house. 10th lord is in the ascendant. 10th lord is in the 2nd. These are the positions of a person that solidifies that, okay, this person should be doing business. And the Samsa chart, to be honest with you, I have seen many people who are doing business, but in the Samsa chart, you have very dependent planets influencing the ascendant. So I can't really say that the Samsa also has to prove that. No, it's mainly the first, the birth and the moon chart that you have to see. And then you have to see the dasha. The dasha that runs, is it showing anything connected with business? Does it rule the 5th house, 7th house, 10th house, ascendant, 3rd house? Is it placed in the 3rd house? So, and then also Saturn in the 3rd house. Saturn in the 3rd house is this one position that will somehow, somewhere at one point will have you either do independent work or have you do your own business. Then the next question is from Preva Shri Muldo Padhyaya. I'm sorry, again, it's blurred out. How to overcome the bad old memories that I get, maybe because of Ketu in Mula in the first house. So Ketu in Mula in the first house can become very destructive related to the past, because first house represents the brain. So here Ketu will pretty much have you dwell into the past because it's the tail. One of the best way is, and again, of course you're Indian, but let's say if somebody was non-Indian too, I mean, one of the best things I would advise is whenever you sit and whenever these thoughts come in, light an incense. And that too, a natural incense. Because most of these incense, I figured out, they're chemically made to give you smells of roses and this flower and that flower, and yet they could actually be harming you more than doing good. You gotta get naturally made incenses. Light that. An incense, because of this position, will help you. The other thing, if you worship Kali, Kali is about wiping things out. Kali will help you to wipe out your, past bad memories. And especially because Ketu's in the ascendant in Mula, having a dog in your home will be the most beneficial thing, because then that becomes a Jiva Karka, or what do you call it? It's Dhatu Mula Jiva concept. Jiva is the highest. When a living thing is implemented as a remedy, it is the most powerful. So having a dog in your home will actually naturally start to take your mind away from these negativity, because dog will be your companion. You'll be interlinked with them. You will create this bond with them, and from that bond, slowly you'll start to put this band-aid on all of these things. Then is from Labrador activities, I guess. Parivartan Yoga between Mars and Moon. Mars is Cancer, Moon is in Scorpio. Does it cause loose signification of both? No. This is actually the most powerful Parivartan Yoga you have. Depending upon the house, I wish you told me the house, but depending upon the house, I mean, this is a wealth-giving Parivartan Yoga. This is a yoga that shows a person will find sudden transformation in their life, via which they will attain happiness, comforts, vehicles, real estate. Okay? So it's a very strong, I mean, usually with this particular Parivartan, a person is very intense. Competitively, they're very intense. Let's see, what else is there? Then it's from Mashid Ravan Baksh. Okay. You once said that in order to improve our malefic chart, we have to get involved with a partner. What if ours ruins theirs? Well, yeah, this is the monopoly. This is the chess that you play in life. Because having a partner doesn't always necessarily mean that everything is going to become activated for the good. Perhaps you activating the 7th house and the spouse will impact you negatively, impact the other person negatively. And this is why horoscope matching is done. So both are balanced individuals. So both charts are balancing each other and complementing each other. So if one person thinks that my chart is going to ruin this person's chart, well, then you find someone whose chart you're not going to ruin. It's that simple. Your one alignment will be different with each person. It's not going to be the same with every person, because depending upon how your 7th lord is, maybe your 7th lord goes into somebody's this house, while on the other person, your 7th lord goes into their 11th house. They will greatly benefit from you. Okay. Then it is from Samantha G12. What planetary placement nakshatra makes a person emotionally detached from others? More than the nakshatra, it is nakshatras do play a very significant role. But whenever your Dharma Lord, Atmakarka, and Moon are in moksha houses, which is 12th, 4th, 8th house. When they get placed in these places, a person looks for escape. A person is looking to escape, and a person slowly becomes detached from things. And you also have to see a person's 2nd and 4th house. Because usually there's always, most of the time, issues within the family, friends, and nourishment that weren't, given to this person as expected. And because of that, because of them seeing, being hurt over and over again, they just simply get detached from the world. And because of those moksha placement, it says, yes, this is what I love. So, and there are many other, positions, and usually you will see a person may become detached for a particular dasha. In someone's Jupiter dasha for 16 years, they just simply get detached from everything. But when the next dasha comes, suddenly they want to hang out with their family, they want to hang out with their friends, and they want to hang out with their cousins. They can't stand being alone. Then it's from Pragati Singh. Astrocytography, meaning of Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto line. So, very interesting. I'm actually right on my Pluto line. I actually visited maybe 2 months ago. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and cross this line. Cross this Pluto line. And I went and crossed the Pluto line, came back, and because of my own analysis and what I've read, boy, it brought a positive transformation, because Pluto is a very mysterious planet, and depending upon how it's placed and what sign it's placed in, because Pluto does very well in Leo, Virgo, Capricorn, even Aquarius. These are a very strong placements for Pluto. So if you have such placement, it can bring great positive transformation, or what house it's placed in. And usually with Pluto, yes, it's transformation. With Neptune, a person could be in a place where they feel lost and they can be scammed, or they'll feel just like a vagabond. Like, what am I doing here? With Uranus, a person starts becoming an inventor. When you go into that place, suddenly ideas come to you. Sudden movements happen. Dramatic changes happen. So that's what these lines do. Then the last one is from Ellis Page. Can you show us some tricks to understand current Jupiter transit? Okay. Where's Jupiter right now? In the first degree, let's just say first 3 degrees of Capricorn, right? Just look at the example in US, what's happening. Jupiter is what? Law and justice. And it's with the planet of justice, Saturn. Actually, Jupiter is more law and advisor, counselor. Saturn is justice. It's an Uttarashada, which represents battles, which represents victory, which represents triumph. But what is directly opposite to Jupiter right now? Always look at the opposite. It's Punarvasu Nakshatra. Failing at something and then going back again and trying to achieve it. And what's happening in the US with the election thing? Lawyers are involved. Courts are involved. There's repeated themes happening. So simple, this is how you understand what Jupiter is doing. And one thing I will also add with the person who asked about the tattoo thing, like I was telling you with the color, And one of the people actually in my school asked, like, what is the significance of, all the spiritual people and yogis and monks wearing orange color? Why do they wear orange color? Well, the thing is, what color do you see outside when the sun is rising and the sun is setting? It's a golden orange color. So the light is being given through the sun. Sun is naturally given an orange color in Vedic astrology. So what is sun? The soul. What is the main purpose of all the yogis, siddhas, monks? Is to find themselves, is to be with the one omnipresence, which is the soul. So wearing those clothes 24/7, this is where that comes into play. So no matter how many times they wash the clothes, they will have 6, 7, 8 of the orange robes, orange saris, because that color keeps them focused on one purpose: soul searching, understanding one's soul. Who is the seeker? Who's the viewer? Like I'm looking right now to the camera, but it's my eyes that are looking, but who's the true viewer of this, who understands this camera? That's something way back here. Okay? And that's where we are trying to get to, and this is where the orange color, really helps. Okay. So yeah, today was a very interesting, I did a lot of questions. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below and make sure you check out my school at the link in the description, Maga Vedic Astrology Academy, where I have the courses and my vlogs. And anything else, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.